Welcome back to this week's episode of the Campfire Series podcast. This is Curtain Call, where we are now on Apple Podcasts. Feel free to check us out in the description. We'll have the link to iTunes. Feel free to rate us, subscribe to us, and give us your feedback. We want to hear from you. We're doing the best we can here in quarantine. It's super fun. We've had a good start, having 100 views close to over on YouTube. Hopefully we can keep that up. You guys have been super great to us as our listeners. But today we have a very special guest from the Broadway National Tour of Chicago the Musical, Miss Velma Kelly herself, Logan Floyd.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You have no idea how excited I am to just hear about your journey and just, talk about how you're handling this whole COVID thing,
Oh, yeah.
But first
Congrats
of all,
on a podcast also. That's so
oh,
exciting.
thank you. Yeah, what happened was I do the sports announcing in my school, and this quarantine kind of says, hey, it kind of inspired me to do a podcast, so I'm going to start it, and, why not get theater people involved, see if we can get, working professionals and give people a little bit of advice. So thank you for being my first guest.
Yeah.
So
You're very welcome.
How are you doing through this whole shutdown, especially getting this big part?
Yeah. It's been fine. I mean, up and down as everyone is. It's kind of comforting to know that the rest of the industry is right there with you. So on days that, I'm really missing the part, I'm missing my whole family of the cast, it's nice to know that literally everyone in this industry has, had parts taken away from them, and they've had to leave contracts that they were really excited and looking forward to, they weren't able to fulfill. So it's nice that in that way, we're still a community and we still have one another.
For sure.
But kind of just doing what everyone else is doing, trying to spend time with family or go to a location that they feel a little bit more safe in.
Where are you right now? Where are you? Where's home for you?
I'm actually in Santa Clarita, which is home as of this week.
Wait, Santa Clarita, California?
Yeah, my parents moved this week.
No way.
Yeah.
I live in North Hollywood, so I'm 20 minutes away from Santa Clarita.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, we actually just moved from Seattle, so
right on.
moving boxes all over the house, kind of a lot of things to do during quarantine.
Oh, no, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how you got the part. First of all, for in case we missed it in the intro, Miss Logan Floyd is playing Velma Kelly in the Chicago National Tour, the new Chicago National Tour, right?
Yeah.
It just, how many performances did you guys have before the whole shutdown?
We had 16.
Okay. Right on. There's gonna be more to come though, which is good news, right?
Yeah, hopefully. If everything shapes out well, we should be starting in a few more months. Fingers crossed, obviously. But how the whole thing started is, I guess, starting from the beginning, I graduated in May of 2019, and then I moved right to New York City. We did our showcase, and the next day I was literally in an apartment, moved in, and kind of just did the whole shebang as everyone does, just going to audition after audition after audition. And my agents actually set me on the Chicago audition, and it was a pretty long process actually, because they had to fly in the creative team. So all in all, it was a month and a half of auditions, and it was actually in November and December, so holidays were thrown in there. So it was quite a long time, and it ended up being kind of funny because our cast got to know each other because we were in auditions for so long.
Right.
That it was kind of when we finally got cast, it was I already know you, this is amazing, congrats. We auditioned 20 times together. And so I auditioned for the ensemble originally, and kind of just found my way through that. The casting director, Stuart Whitley, was casting it, kind of called me in for different things, and by the end of December they called me with the offer, and then by the end of January we were in rehearsals.
Wow, that's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So what made them say hey, they just thought you'd fit better? They thought you were so good, they don't want you in the ensemble, they want you as Velma? Is that kind of
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there was a little bit like mini steps towards that. So it was the ensemble for a few days, and then after a while, it was kind of like, we're interested in seeing you for the understudy of Velma, and then
Okay.
also staying in the ensemble. So it was like, here's a packet of all of her material. Can you come in and just do it? And I actually was walking on the sidewalk in New York, and my agents called me, and they originally sent me this packet to perform like the next week. So I had like a week to prepare it. But then on a Friday, they called me and they were like, can you actually come in like 2 hours and perform the whole packet?
Oh, wow.
And, like in this business, you say yes and then you
Right.
figure it out.
You
So I
said
was
yes
like,
before even thinking
yes,
about it.
absolutely I can. And, like got back on the subway, went home, tried to prep as much as I could, got all dolled up. I really had no idea what I was going to do because they don't really have a lot of information. They're kind of just like, the team wants to see you, like go in.
Right.
And so I just went in, I did as much as I could. They didn't know that I didn't really have any of it prepped, but just as professional as possible.
Exactly.
Just did what I can, did the part. And it was kind of an in and out thing, gave me a little bit of advice because it was just Stuart Whitley. So then like the next week I came in again, did the same packet. And it was kind of just bouncing in and out of a couple different rooms, like performing the ensemble stuff and dancing with those gals, and then kind of coming in and doing the Velma stuff. And eventually it kind of got weeded out that it wasn't really an understudy. It was like just looking at me for Velma. And then it was like, we're not looking at you ensemble at all. It's just Velma. So it kind of like gradually went up.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Congratulations. Now,
Thank you.
You said you moved to New York right after college. So
Yep.
when do you think is the right time to make the move to New York?
Oh, I think that is so individual. For myself, it was an easy decision to make because it was kind of in my head since I was like 12 that I wanted to live in New York City. So I was always really prepping for right after college. Like I wanted to get to New York as soon as possible. But I think that it really just depends on the individual and what your journey is. I know a lot of friends of mine, they went back home, they spent the summer with their family, or they were on contracts for that summer, so they couldn't get into New York City. And then eventually moved. I have friends that moved to New York City and recognized that it wasn't something that they wanted right then. And they knew that New York City was always going to be there. So then they like either moved to the West Coast or moved back home for a few months. And I think it's really nice because in my program, we had a showcase. So we were able to go to New York and kind of experience that. And I think that just like a week, a few days really gives you like, do I want to do this? Am I ready to do this? Is this something I'm interested in doing right away? That you really just have to listen to your intuition, like visit the city, see what it's like, ask friends. And if you're ready for that hustle and bustle and like grinding all the time, which after college I really was very hungry for that is absolutely something that you want.
Right.
If that's something that maybe you're in and out of, like a visit usually tells you kind of, is this what you want? But ultimately you try it. And then if it's not for you, it's not for you, and you can come back later. I mean, I think the best piece of advice is just New York City is always going to be there. And, like even in quarantine, New York City is there. Even in COVID, it's there and it's not going anywhere. So you really have to just do it when it's right for you. Because I think that if you move too soon or it's not something you're interested in, it really knocks you down. It really burns you out. And I mean, New York City is not an easy city to live in at all. And so when you are hungry for it, it's even more fun because you're kind of like, wow, my subway, it got delayed for like 3 hours, but that was so cool. I really got a taste of what New York City is like. And when you can have that mentality, it's definitely more enjoyable, but it really just depends on the individual.
Yeah, for sure. I totally, I get like, because New York is just so crazy. And you said it's like so hard to live in. That's what people don't normally realize until you get, after college. Hey, now I got to focus on rent. Do I move in?
Right.
Like, what's the right move? But congratulations on, getting out there and just working hard, and it obviously it paid off. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Lucky. I have a lot of juniors in high school and seniors in high school that are very curious about the audition process for college. So you went to Texas State Musical Theater,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
What are some two things? What are some tips you can give people, and what was some takeaways you had from the audition process for Texas State?
Yeah, that audition process is grueling. I definitely do not ever want to do that again. And anyone going into that, I wish them the best of luck. Um, but I think so. I guess some big tips I would say is that like organization is key. If you know the list of schools that you want to audition for, like make yourself a spreadsheet. My mom and I had to sit down multiple times and like make a giant spreadsheet of like what I was looking for, where I got accepted, if I got accepted academically, when my audition was, because every school is different and that's what makes it the most frustrating. And so every school when applying, it wants different things, and then every program wants different things. And so I would say as much as you can get a handle on that stuff, it's going to make your artistic audition even easier, because you can put that aside. You did your homework. You can just walk in that audition room and sing your cuts and your monologue and do your dance, and you can just focus on the thing that you love and that you want to focus on, because you already did that grueling stuff, and the other stuff that you isn't really the best part. And I think that was a really big help, because I got that out of the way. I knew all of that. It was all handled. And I could just focus on my material, my books, my monologues, and all of that. And the biggest takeaways, so mine was pretty crazy, because I auditioned for 20 plus schools. And so it was a little insane. And I had, like, of course, as we all do, like an order of like our top 5, our top 10,
Right.
and like our top 3. And so it was definitely difficult to focus on all of the schools and not just like my top choice. I was really lucky that I got into my top choice, which was Texas State. And that made that decision even easier.
Right.
But you definitely have to just focus on every program. Really, a big tip would be know what you're looking for. Like your top 3 things. What is the most important thing to you? Not what your friends are looking for, not what like the top choice is. Oh, Michigan offers this, or Texas State offers this, or CCM offers this. Like really know what you're looking for. If a community is a big deal for you, know that that program offers a sense of community. If location is a really big deal for you, like really be true to yourself. Like location matters. For me, location actually didn't really matter that much, because I'm very introverted. So the program was the most like important thing for me. But a lot of people don't like being away from home, or they love being away from home. So it's really like asking yourself and knowing truly what you want, and that's going to be the program that's right for you.
For sure. I definitely my audition process this year wasn't like crazy. I didn't even think I wanted to go into musical theater. I want to go to, I just want to find a way I can like stay active in theater in college. But hopefully I want to keep training. But hearing this advice is just so crucial for like the audition world, which I think is super cool, that you're able to give me and everyone who listens to this. I really have a fun little question. What is like your like silliest / favorite memory from Chicago thus far?
Wow, that's so hard, because I feel like it was such a short time.
Right.
But we were also with each other 24/7, so there's plenty of memories. I mean, for me, this was my first professional gig ever.
Right.
My first gig out of college, and so like everything we did was like silly and hilarious and fun for me, because it was like even just this, like the bus, I was like, this is amazing, what a wonderful experience, I love this. And it's not like necessarily silly or the most influential thing in the world, but like every little thing we did was just so exciting to me, because it was like out in the world and doing it and traveling. I was very fortunate in that my birthday was during the tour, but before COVID hit. And so like truly having this like big family to know like, oh, it's your birthday. I got to perform on my birthday, which was
Oh, that's
insane,
awesome.
like an amazing opportunity to do. And then I also got to spend it with these people that became such great and quick and fast friends. And just doing things with them. I mean, I don't really know if I have anything silly. I would say just kind of everything was just so exciting because you go into this theater, you've been on the bus for like 6 hours, and then you get to this place you've never been before, and
Right.
you walk into a theater you've never been in before, and your stage manager is just like, hey, everything's fine. Here's your dressing room. We go on in an hour and a half. And you're like,
Hashtag tour life.
great. Exactly. And it's just, you're just slap happy all the time because you don't know when the next time you're going to sleep that well, or like when you're going to eat, or if this theater is going to be amazing, or if this theater is going to be a little bit smaller and have a
Right.
little bit less. Like
For
it's
sure.
just, it always keeps you on your toes. And so kind of just everything, you just have to laugh and smile at everything.
No, absolutely. With that also going on tour, I got a couple more questions, then we'll start to wrap up. People want to be on Broadway. People want to be on tours. Actors don't realize how hard 8 shows a week is. Do you, first of all, your run do you guys do 8 shows a week usually?
Oh yeah, or more.
Or more? Oh my gosh. Tips on how to stay healthy, like have good mental health, and, you know, just to stay awake and stay present. What's some advice you can give on, you know, performing 8 times a week is hard, but it can be done?
Yeah. Oh, and I can absolutely be done. I think in 1 week and 7 days we did 11 or 12 performances.
Man.
So yeah, it can be done, but it's definitely something you have to look after. It's something you have to take care of. You have to take care of yourself, and knowing what you need, I think, is the biggest thing. In rehearsals, I learned what I needed very fast. We had
Nice.
3 weeks, and so I learned exactly what I need to be able to make that sound come out, make my body move. But then also have fun with my cast because I didn't want to shut down. I don't want to just, be focused on one thing. That's
Right.
that's not a well-rounded experience. So, like knowing how much you need to sleep, knowing what makes it a great place to sleep, knowing what makes your hotel room feel like home. Like I have a diffuser with essential oils. Like
Nice.
it might sound ridiculous, but it's just, it makes it feel like home. It makes me
Right.
relax. Knowing how much you can spend with your cast and when you need to call it quits. Like no one's going to look down on you for being like, hey guys, can't go to Applebee's tonight because we have 3 shows tomorrow. I really got to sleep. Like people understand that you're putting your craft first. It's very well respected. For me, I was definitely steaming before every show. I do a very light warm up so that I'm not tiring myself out, especially on 2 or 3 show days. You need to be warm, but you can't be like exhausted.
Right.
Cooling down was like a huge thing technically, to cool down like physically and vocally, because it makes the whole process way more smooth. If you're not just like coming right off of stage and then you're like going to sleep, it just makes everything really stiff. But it's just little things like that, like really learning what makes the whole process better for you. And like some people, they get massages when they can, or they've like, when they see a swimming pool in a hotel, like that is their favorite thing ever. Cause like, that's how they work out. That's how they keep themselves fit. I think just really knowing deep down what makes your experience the best and sticking to that is kind of a good, well-rounded way of staying healthy.
Right on. We all want to be tired. We want to have that rush, 8 times a week.
Absolutely.
And we send your cast, lots of love through this time, that you guys come back stronger than ever. With that, what are some tips for some shows that are like some actors who are in shows where they're on pause right now because of COVID? What are some ways you've been like kind of going over your material? How often do you do it? Like, share a little bit about that.
That's a great question. So when we first took our break, and I'm sure this is kind of for everybody, but when we would start up again, kind of just kept getting pushed back further and further and further. So my process started to slow down a little bit, because before it was like, okay, in 4 weeks, I need to be show ready. And now it's like, okay, in 13 weeks, I need to be show ready.
Yeah.
So it's not as intense, but it's definitely, I kind of like run through my lines in my head. I try to do it like once a week. Vocal practices, I usually do every other day. And that's kind of running through the show. That's also like running through my book and my material and like keeping that in tip top shape because,
Your book is in
your vocal.
your audition book.
Yes, correct.
Right on,
correct.
right on.
Yeah. Because your vocal cords, are just a muscle, just like anything else in your body. And so it goes in and out of shape, just like your body does. And, like physically, it's like yoga. It's like having a pool. I'm really, really fortunate to have a pool. Doing ballet, doing dance exercises. Like, it's awesome, actually. COVID stinks, obviously, but it's great
Right.
because all of these resources are coming out and all of these artists are coming out with things that they can do other than like sing, dance, and act, and that they want this community to thrive, and so that we're all helping each other.
Mhm.
And those classes are being offered, and that's amazing. And so I'm kind of taking part in that. So yeah, it's kind of finding a balance of keeping in tip top shape, but also not like grinding it to the ground, and recognizing that this is a break and to utilize that, and
Right. Absolutely.
knowing what a break looks like. So for me, I don't like to go too long without going over the material because it makes me genuinely happy. So
Right.
to be able to run through it and remind myself like this is just temporary is also part of the training.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but whenever we're having a bad day, because obviously we're gonna have some, bad days through this. I just listen to not only just my show. I'm in Something Rotten right now, so that's like I listen to Something Rotten like crazy. But I listen to just any kind of theater. I'm sure you're the same way. You just listen
Of course.
to show stuff because it's just lifts you up. And with that, what are your aside from Chicago? Because obviously you're a little I would assume you're a little biased, but your 3 favorite Broadway musicals.
Oh my gosh. Like ever?
Ever, anything on Broadway right now? Whatever ones you want to say. How about we do ones that are on Broadway right now and like ever.
Okay. Yeah, I am definitely super biased. I love Candor and Ebb musicals, like all of them, any of them. And so I'm just really lucky to be able to be in Chicago is my favorite musical, so I'm kind of like in my favorite musical. Other than that, like Cabaret has my heart, my soul, my everything. And then like taking it all the way back, shows like She Loves Me. I just love traditional shows like that. I think they're gorgeous. The music is just makes me swoon every time. And Beetlejuice. I went into Beetlejuice and was like, oh my God, this is going to be so fun. Everybody loves this show. And it was so fun. But I also was just like, that was an incredible theater experience, like all around, that just kind of like blew my mind. So it was sad to see it go. But yeah, those are some of my favorites, but I'm really lucky to be in my absolute favorite musical.
That's awesome. So you're a really big fan of traditional stuff.
Yeah.
I sense a theme with Cabaret and Chicago, like the tie. But thank you. I wish I could keep you for an hour because I have so many questions, so many things. But what a coincidence that you live in Santa Clarita. They're like 20 minutes. That's kind of funny. But also your advice that you gave me, you said today, really helps, because hearing different kind of performers' stories and how you take those stories and like put them into your own craft and your mindset, I think is super big. And also, I have to ask one question before we go. Did you have to cut your hair for the show?
No.
You didn't?
No, I was inspired by Thelma.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So Velma Kelly, you've liked for a long time.
She has been my idol since day one. And when they put that wig on me, I was like, and I'm going to cut my hair.
Oh, makes it easier. And also, yeah. But thank you so much for coming on the show and just meeting with me. I know like we're in quarantine. A lot of crazy stuff is happening. But like you said, taking care of your mental health is definitely a big thing. And just utilizing the resources that are out there. And best of luck to you and your journey. Like, from the rest of the run of Chicago and then beyond to all that stuff, I really wish you lots of success. take this time as rest. And just once again, thank you so much for meeting with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's kind of, once again, it's kind of funny, Logan to Logan, I just had to throw it out.
Logan to Logan. And best of luck with your podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So enjoy the rest of your day. I will let you know when this episode goes out. It's going to be super fun. And yeah, thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like what you're hearing, please tune in every Wednesday and every Thursday for all of our episodes on Apple Podcasts or YouTube. Feel free to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, and also to give us a rating and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you every week on Wednesday and Thursday. We got some exciting guests coming up. But right here at Campfire Series Podcast, this is Logan Sofranco signing off.